Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So neck head straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. And also if you are comfortable, please close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. While you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, we'll take few minutes to understand ourselves how this practice can help for us to develop our inner awareness. So we almost end 2 years this pandemic situation, and the whole world experienced it, and it was very horrible and was very difficult. And people went through a lot of hard time, and a lot of loved ones died and separated. And it's a kind of like a situation that unexpected, and also it's a kind of like acceptable because it is a virus situation. But end of that pandemic, today there is a war start in another part of the world. So if we look at the history, when the Spanish flu happens in that time, and the Second World War start after the pandemic. So look now today, we end up the pandemic and people go to war. So what you need to understand, we have to understand we're living in a very artificial world. You can't expect the world or the society or the environment or your country or the nation going to become very wise, or it going to become more reasonable for all living beings. It's not going to happen. So our very personal life is artificial. And when you look around our house, our day-to-day things, this all the consumer product and things artificial. And the most of time, our relationships, even husband, wife, artificial. And sometimes now, people create the human beings kind of like artificial living beings. And so it's a very, very artificial life. And everything that around the cities, the build artificial ways. And when you go on freeways, and sometimes you see trees, and it's a kind of like a beautiful tree, but it's artificial. And sometimes flowers, and there are flowers artificial. And what we see sometimes, and our life depend on sometimes artificial, and sometimes the entire society artificial, the nations artificial, the whole world became a kind of like an artificial world. So that's why we can't expect out of that artificial life, we can't expect the reality, truth, or the dharma, any compassion. Don't look for that. And other thing is, you should not get disturbed out of that situations. And there are a lot of people who start to talk about this. And there are a lot of students who start to call me and and ask. So what I want to tell whoever follow our sessions, remember, the world always like that. The people never going to become more better. They become part of the current or the part of the history. But it is your personal responsibility how you can get out of this artificial life and become kind of like realistic. So for that, why this artificial life accelerate? Why it becomes so powerful? Why it becomes so strong? Because the people have influence to go towards the success and satisfaction. That's how our mentality build up. That's how our life build up. That's how we try to live, success and satisfaction. So when it comes to success, success is measured by others, and success depends on comparison. And if you try to become satisfied, so satisfaction come out of the inner being. So the satisfaction measured by yourself becoming as who you are. But the thing is, if you use the satisfaction, the success as a tool to gain the satisfaction, you will never find it. It becomes more frustrated. It becomes more hard, difficult. And it always going to take you to some kind of struggle or the resistance. And when it comes to the whole world, that is what happened, because the countries, the nations, the people, the leaders, everybody look for success. When they build on that, what happens? They will never find the satisfaction, because once they reach to certain level, it will push them to something else. So then we have to come to a point to understand ourselves. How we can go beyond this. For that, one of the very first thing that you have to remember, you have to take this as your story. Otherwise, if you neglect, oh, let it be, you're not going to become part of the change. And you can't change. So you have to take it as your story, and you have to put into yourself, you have to put the strength on you and develop the awareness within yourself, rather than becoming artificial. Go towards the realistic life. So in your background, in your environment, it is your responsibility, because you are a part of it. So then yourself always be real. So that's why this kind of lessons important. How we can be real? Because that we live with this artificial current. We nourish from the artificial current, and sometimes we born from the artificial strength. And then how we can be real? Another thing is that the meaning or the very understanding ourselves, or the very search that we look within the self also became artificial. And that's why we hold it to it, but there is nothing. But this nothingness, we can't just get as only by the self. Just telling all this, there is no self. People are not going to understand it. So then how you can get into this realistic life and get in that, understand this, and how you can experience yourself, this inner behavior happen as a cause and effect, not because of the self. Why that no self is difficult to understand? Because when we take our eye as eye, ear as ear, nose as nose, tongue as tongue, the body as body, the mind as mind, as a result of that, what happened? The self going to be there as self. So if you look then very carefully, if you examine a little bit, what is this eye? What is this nose? What is this ear? What is this tongue? What is this body? Then you recognize it is the result of something. And behind this experience with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, there is a deeper mechanism. And as a result of that mechanism, your eye appear, ear appear, nose appear, so like that. Even though basically physically we see this eye, ear, you will never see the real eye. You can't see it. Because the reason when the pictures or the colors appear, at that very moment, the eye appear. When there is no sound, your ear not going to appear. When the sound is there, ear appear. So when you deeply think or believe, or I have eye, ear, nose, or it's kind of like a separate permanent entity, as a result of that, what happened? You validate the inside this awareness experience, which we call the self. So then, how we can recognize this? So that is the method we call, in the very beginning, we have to tranquilize the mind. And after that, from that point, we go to the vipassana level, thoroughly, deeply observe and recognize how things come to be as they are. So when it comes to that, we have to observe ourselves, because what is real for you is your own experience, not something else. So then the realization happens once you recognize the experience. So when it comes to that tranquility meditation, that's awareness, is suddenly not going to happen. Why? Because our mind is everywhere, scattered. So then you have to collect that everything, and we call it collective awareness. Another thing is, you have to systematically cultivate your awareness. focusing it again and again, little by little. So that's why systematically, not suddenly, step by step, little by little, you have to cultivate it. Cultivate your awareness, focusing to a primary mental object again and again, again and again, again and again. And in a certain level, what will happen? Your mind start to settle down and become more aware and recognize the feelings. And the thoughts will little by little settle down, and you will have the undisturbed mind. And now the awareness become more sharper and clear. It not get disturbed out of the thoughts. And then you can catch the feelings. You can see the feelings. You can feel the feelings. So that is the entering point. So that is the power of becoming a human being, because you are capable to tackle your own inner feelings. That's why human beings capable to attain to the liberation. So once you catch the feelings, rather than go with the feelings, because if you go with the feelings, if the mind start to go with the feelings, if the mind agitate by the feelings, if the mind validate the feelings, if the mind accept the feelings, what will happen? It start to become emotions. So when the feelings, so as you know, the feelings very physical. And it creates a kind of like a current. Any physical things in movement, what happened? It become a current, energy. So the feelings very physical, but the thing is that the mind is the current inside us. When the mind start to come with this physical, it become emotions. Emotions means that it become energy in motion. Emotions, energy in motion. So when the physical and mental come together, that is where the emotions arise. So, but the thing is, what the awareness does, when the awareness come to the middle, what happened? You see the feelings, but you don't allow your thoughts to get into that. And once the thoughts not get into that, what happens? The feelings become feelings. And rather than get into that, just witness it. Allow it to be there. That is the only thing you have to do. So whatever you feelings you recognize, maybe we start with the here sensation of our inhalation, exhalation, but any bodily feelings, physical feelings, that whatever the feelings that you recognize, if you allow it to be there, and if you witness it, rather than get into it, rather than interfere with your feelings, what will happen? You will see that the feelings itself arise but release. But if the thoughts get into that, what will happen? It go into different level of current, which we call the emotions. But now you not interfere with the thoughts. So that is where the awareness play the role. And now your feelings arise and release. And once you know that, once you see it, what will happen? Rather than the feelings, your awareness become more stronger and clear, and more feelings you can see. You can feel it, You can see it, and at the same time, you know the feelings arise and itself it release. So that is a wisdom you gain out of it. But the thing is, once, if you interfere with the thoughts, disturb with the thoughts to the feelings, it become emotions, and then the emotions has a reason to do whatever that it wants. Then it becomes different. So that is where mostly we validate our emotions and we validate our feelings with our thoughts, and then we go with the life. And in the society, validate our emotions, validate our feelings, and we live with the feelings, we live for the feelings, we live by the feelings. If there are no feelings, you have no idea what is life. Why? Because you experience life by feelings. But here, when you come to the awareness, you recognize just go with the feeling is not the life. It is just a part of life. Life happening behind the feelings. So once you recognize that, you see how the feelings arise as a result of cause and effect. And there is no any magic, no, there is no somebody interfere or someone in the middle bring you feelings. It happened as a result of cause and effect. And then you recognize how things come to be as they are. If you go with, you don't recognize, now you see it. That's why you recognize how it happened like that. But most of time in the world, we just look with this conventional way of life, from here to there, from me to you, this to that, so like that. And as you know, very, very famous, there's a philosophical, psychological, scientific question we have. And that is, so chicken and egg, which came first? So why we have this question? It's nothing wrong with the chicken, nothing wrong with the egg. But our point of view create this question and people cannot find the answer. Why? Because the very point of view depends on the dualistic mind. But if you look very carefully, when it comes to the cause and effect, causality, causation, this both come together. That is the key. So when you have the wisdom to understand this both not separate, each and everything interconnected, there is an interrelationship. Without one, other thing cannot exist. Once you see that, you're not going to separate from this to that. So like that, when it comes to the causality, you come to a deeper understanding. This everything happened together. Not this one first and then that one later. No. That's why when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, it's go like a chakra, circle, because there is no beginning point or the ending point. It is a different way of understanding. That is the way of understanding of vipassana. It's take you to the different way of to see. Because we normally see things according to the conventional way of life. And we see things to make it very easy. And we are addicted to that. But your mind has so much power to recognize certain things. But imagine yourself, you know that there is gravity, but you really never experience or thought that understood what is this gravity and relativity and causality. There is something, but we see things, we go with things, but we never really understood. But this practice will give you a deeper understanding within your own body and mind to recognize what is this causality. Because once you understand within yourself, naturally it is very easy for you to apply it to other things. And what happens once you recognize this causality, causation, dependent origination, and once you know this everything interconnected and have an interdepending relationship, there is nothing in this universe. Just imagine, no? There is nothing in this universe exist separately itself without changing. In the material world, physical world, even in the mental world, there is nothing. So once you understand this, it's become like a medicine for you. That is the best medicine that you can carry with your samsaric journey until you attain to the Nibbana, because you know these things change, and at the same time, these things not kind of like the way that we think, and we always personalize, and we try to take it kind of like a concrete way of experience. We kind of like a permanent always, our inner experience, outer experience, we always try to permanent, but there is nothing like that. Once you see that this is what happened. So, people sometimes think, I lose things, I miss things. But once you learn this art, once you get into this, what will happen? You will never lose anything. You know what? Because you start to give back. You start to give back. There is a sutta called the Tumhaka Sutta. And if you look very carefully, there is nothing related to you. You can't claim anything as this is mine. Look at around you. It belongs to somebody else. And everything, if you, look, sometimes even the name or the mating, this country, that country, this belongs to somebody. So when you come to this course and understand this causation, what happened? You start to release things. That is the very mechanism of the feelings even. Now you see it within your own feelings. Once you not interfere, feelings itself release. But once the mind interfere, what will happen? It tangle. It become different energy. Same thing with the material world. Now you apply it, that mechanism to this outside world also. If there is nothing wrong with this computer or the table or the lights or the cell phone or this cup or anything. But once you interfere with the mind, this is mine. This is mine. It belongs to me. What happens? There is a different way of current to start to come. So, but now you see it, what will happen? You start to give back everything. Give back your husband, give back your wife, give back your children, give back your partners, give back your love, give back all the friends, and give back your enemies, give back all the bad people gave you hard time, give back that everything to them. And then you will see, even this body we accumulated from, somewhere through the food or the environment, and give it back. Why? Because if you don't give it back, one day what will happen? It's going to go back to that. So once you understand it, you're not going to lose anything. How beautiful it is, because how much people, people worry so much losing things with wrong understanding. And see people go to war even, and thinking, oh, I lose my country, I lose this, I lose my nature. It's a wrong believing. You can't lose anything. Why? Because you don't have anything. So in the ancient time, from the Genghis Khan, he was the warrior, it's not like today, these machines or this armored car and go and, destroy other places. They go face to face. And the king go first, not in the, AC room and, calling and give command. No, they don't go, tweet or Facebook live. No, they go, to the war face to face. And the first king go and fight. The Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, when King Asoka. So when we look at that human history, who we are today, but still we don't learn from that history. So then we have to remember, we can't accumulate anything better than us. There were many millionaires, and there were many, many rich people, successful people, and they died on the way, even not sometimes their own mansion. And sometimes, they've not even lying down, died on the bed. And the Genghis Khan fell down from his own, horse and got sick and died. And as you know, Alexander the Great, he on the way, he died. So like that, we have to understand this, anything is not belong to us. So from today, remember yourself. If something is bothering to you, if giving a hard time, remember, give it back. Don't hold it to it. Because holding it to it means not materially you hold. The mechanism is that material brings some kind of feelings to you, and your thoughts hold it to the feelings. That's how you hold it to the world. Otherwise, you can't hold it to the material. There is no way. Look at your body. Even this piece of cloth, not sticking to the body, it can fall down. So like that, even this body itself, not, hold it to the body forever. And as you know, your hair every day, it's go down, and the nails go out, teeth fell down, so like that. And the skin, day by day, it's go away. So like this, even our body. So then why we hold it to things? While we living in this time period, make it very real. Don't make it artificial. That's the bottom line. When you go through this spiritual path, that is where you go. It will rescue you from this artificial world and take you to the realistic world that is within your own life. How? As I mentioned, it's through recognizing your feelings and cut down your emotions, separate your emotions, and recognizing. And that recognition will release all the tangles. And that way, when you realize life, it brings the real satisfaction, not satisfaction we go through with this artificial world, not we gain through this comparison. So that is the day your happiness joy, your true security, life, your true awareness, that your true joy going to be there with you. So otherwise, we always in a danger. There's no way we can escape. So that's why every day, little bit give your time to practice. And while you practice, always remember, step by step, little by little, systematically, bring your awareness, develop your attention, and develop your focus toward the primary mental object. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes 3 times yourself and say Supatveva, or may I be well and happy. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens through the sensation, recognize it, do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhamma nu dhamma patipatiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Adhaya imaya patipatiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjisami Idamme punya kammang asavakaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.